Hurricane Erin might be moving away from land, but the unusually large storm is still bringing strong winds and powerful waves to much of the East Coast. Here's the latest from Aaron Gilchrist.
On North Carolina's Outer Banks, the impacts of Hurricane Erin seen in these storm surges bringing floodwaters onto hard-hit Hatteras Island. Waves crashing high onto the stilts, propping up homes right on the shoreline. Water flooding in as neighborhood streets are washed out, even as crews are already out by the beaches to repair flattened sand dunes. Video from the now closed-off Hatteras Island showing a rising ocean punching right through sand dunes. Double red flags still posted all along the Outer Banks, a warning to stay out of the water. The Category 2 hurricane with a wind field larger than Hurricane Katrina remains hundreds of miles from the coast. Its winds tonight impacting the Northeast from the Jersey Shore to southern New England. Streets flooded on Long Beach Island in New Jersey, where the governor today declared a state of emergency in anticipation of Erin's wrath. Lifeguards patrolling the beaches to make sure there are no swimmers.
They're bummed that they can't be out on the beach.
We rely on NOAA to keep us informed on these storms and where they're heading, but the agency is under tremendous strain right now. There are staffing cuts, there are buyouts implemented by the Trump administration that cut hundreds of employees and still more employees who've been placed on what's called administrative leave. Those are employees who help forecast storms just like these. And my next guest is one of those workers impacted. He was also part of the investigation into what we shorthand as Sharpiegate, when Donald Trump altered the forecasted path of Hurricane Dorian with the use of a marker. I want to welcome Stephen Volz, Assistant Administrator of NOAA's Satellite and Information Services and Acting Assistant Secretary for Environmental Observations and Predictions. It's so good to see you here. Thank you so much for making the trip to New York. What's it like to sit on the sidelines watching a storm like Erin go by, knowing the work that you would normally be doing right now?
It's a mixture of pride and kind of frustration. The pride being we built those satellites, our system did, my team did with industry and with NASA working together. So seeing the great pictures and the imagery and knowing it's getting to the users and to the people who need to see it and act on it has been really, that's the pride part. Frustration part is I'm a major part of building the next generation, and I'm not able to participate in that at the moment. And that's a key. That's what we do. We look far down the road for what we do to maintain the systems we build.
And so I mentioned you've been placed on administrative leave, and you did play this role in the so-called Sharpiegate scandal, part of a report that was authored talking about basically the politicization of the data and what happened in that Oval Office, and in the aftermath, statements issued by NOAA at the time. What happened? Why do you think you were put on administrative leave?
Well, first, the Sharpiegate was not about politicization. It was about the scientific integrity process that we have within NOAA. So it was maintaining the scientific integrity of the products and services we produce. But the conclusion of the report was that integrity was not upheld. Is that correct? Correct. By some of the political leadership within NOAA.
And some of the same political leadership that the president wants to be back in the agency now. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And so what happened? Why do you think you were placed on administrative leave? Was it tied to your role in this report?
I doubt it. I really think that's in the past. That was years ago. I think the real reason today is more the aggressive and the rapid nature of change of the way that we do our systems and our missions is the intention of this administration. And I was cautioning and advising that we take these things more methodically. We don't break the system that we have by rushing to a different design, because what we do is so important and what people rely on it, and I don't want to take abrupt action on changing that system.
Well, tell me more about that. What is the design that they are trying to implement? I've talked to workers across the federal government who deal with issues like climate change and say the administration's essentially directed them not even to utter those words.
What we do primarily in NESDIS, which is my satellite and information service, is we provide operational information. It's not about climate data. It's about information people use daily. So you saw the Hurricane Erin pictures. That is an image from our geostationary satellite, which is used by the weather forecasters, emergency managers, and similar to that, we do globally. We look about the U.S. every day looking at those kind of data. So the mission that we're developing was the next generation of that, which is not, the data are useful for climate observations and understanding, but their primary use is for operational use every day. People make decisions based on the information we provide. And that's what we're trying to do with the next generation, provide better information.
If this is tied directly to operational use, there's going to be impacts. If that operational if the operational work of the agency is being affected, there are going to be real-world impacts. I mean, today, tomorrow, certainly in the future. Right. What are those impacts?
So, for example, one of the reductions in the scope of the mission was to take away the atmospheric composition instrument, which is a measurement which would look at the quality of the air and what's in smoke and what's in the air when you have a major fire event. That information would be critical for understanding the content of the smoke, the health benefits of it, the health issues from it, the air quality on an average and a daily basis. These are measurements we will not have without the atmospheric measurements. And that means there will be less information for communities that want to plan for bad weather days, bad air days. And we won't have that if we don't have this instrument on the satellites going forward.
You know, I reported for us from the Los Angeles fires and also on the aftermath of how the dismantling of some programs within NOAA, including the billion-dollar disaster registry or system, is effectively discontinued now. Is it fair to say we'll never know the impact, the full cost, according to the federal government, of what happened in Los Angeles on January 7th, 2025?
I think it's fair to say that we will have a much more difficult time doing that. When you had the role of NOAA collecting that information and providing a synopsis report, you had an independent auditor who was looking at all this information and providing knowledge-added information content. We still collect the data, we still collect the observations, but there's nobody there bringing it all together and understanding how these pieces fit together. So the data will be available, but the information and the knowledge that grows from it will be lost or hard to recover.
Your former boss, or I guess current boss, since you're just on administrative leave, President Trump, is known to watch late-night television, especially on cable news. If he might be watching tonight, I wonder what you might want him to know about the work you would be doing now if you weren't on administrative leave and the work of your colleagues at NOAA.
I would say that my colleagues at NOAA are dedicated to meeting the mission. Their job, and they come to work every day to provide information for people to live their lives better. And that's what they want to do more than anything else, and not be distracted by claims of climate this or climate that. It's about providing weather and environmental information so people can live their lives better. And that's what NOAA wants to do more than anything else.